I hope that you are fabulous. It's me, your girl, GRACIA, SUSUZANDE, your host of ETINCELLE, and I'm back for another series. I'm back with you, and I'm so glad that you are here connected. I'm so sorry for the couple minutes of lateness, you know what I'm saying? When it comes to the technical side, sometimes it can go a little bit, but we are still here, and I really thank you because you are the star. And then, listen, we're about to begin. And I have my guest sitting right next to me. I know you cannot see her, but she's ready for you and I'm ready for you. So now, the topic of this time now, right now, we're still on, you know, is our future in danger? You probably need to know, need to understand as well, like from your perspective, and ask yourself, is our future in danger? And what are the points, what are the things that is making our future to be in danger? Some people are like, saying Jesus is coming back soon. I don't know. There is this, or maybe the world is going to end tomorrow. There's so many things that we can possibly think of. But if you have, you know, if you never had, you know, the opportunity to watch my show, it is still on ETINCELLE, the talk show on YouTube. Please go and check them out. And if there are other subjects that you feel like, hey, you want to show it to me, you want to send it to me in order to discuss, we can still do it. So now today is going to be an open show. Open talk show with my guest of today, an artist, an amazing person. And she's gonna show herself. She's so beautiful and so cute. So now, before we dive in, I'm gonna give you a short little break. Don't go anywhere, please. Share this live. That's all really I'm asking you. Share this live in order for us to create a much bigger audience with the people who are connected to you, maybe connect to somebody else. I don't know. Let's just do this and come back to us. Let's begin the show. I hope that you're ready because I'm ready for you. Let's go. Voilà, nous sommes bel et bien de retour. We are back for another, you know, topic with you, my guest, for you that's watching me right now, and with my beautiful guest beside me. Right. So now, let me start by introducing her for the ones I know, because I know her and you don't, right? So she is an artist. She's a star. Let's just begin by that. Right? She is a student at university, and she's probably going to explain that later. And her name is Divine Isalu. She has a nickname, but she is definitely going to introduce herself and give you more details. Hello, Divine.
Hi guys, it's Divine Isalu, aka Pretty Stormy. As you guys know, I'm an artist. That is the name that I go by. Yeah, I'm not actually 19 anymore. I just turned 20.
20, exactly.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you.
I mean, your day is literally one day before me. So, twins. Yes.
Yeah, I'm a student, a psychology student. And yeah, I'm here to express, myself and to really give you guys a bit of an insight on what it's like, being young in this generation and, growing up, trying to find yourself,
And tell me a little bit more. So you are the firstborn of your family, the secondborn.
I'm the baby.
You're the baby. She's the last one of how many children?
3. There's 3 of us, and I'm the youngest.
So you're the artist, and you're just closing the deal, basically.
I'm the millionaire in the family.
Yes, I like that. And I'm sure your dad is so happy. Like, yes, let's get this money. No, I love that. So you can tell how beautiful she is. So we're saying that you're an artist, and you're making your way in this field of music, I believe. Yeah. Because when it's artists, I mean, we can say so much. It could be a painter, it could be, an architect, I don't know what. So it's music that you. And what sort of music do you do?
Well, I'm still, learning to master my craft, I would say. So with my music, the type of music that I am, planning to release, I guess I want to make my own genre, maybe just call it passion music,
Yeah, I like that. Passion music. So the kind of music that actually comes out from your heart.
Yeah, exactly.
Thoughts and the kind of meditation when nobody's there, you just, it's just sinking in.
It's like me and myself in my own, it's my own space.
I love that. And so who are you targeting? Who are the people you're targeting?
I would say anyone that's young like me, trying to find yourself. I think that is definitely the people that I'm targeting. Those who are still growing up and, meeting new people, learning new things about themselves, because it's always something new to learn about yourself.
Definitely.
So, yeah.
I like that. And so today, you put yourself out there and you really want everyone, to see really who you are.
Yeah.
Right, in this field, and I'm really inviting every single one of you guys, please come and check out. Where can they find you?
Instagram.
Yes.
TikTok. I don't really post as much, but I will get back and be consistent because that is the goal. But yeah, Pretty Stormy, and YouTube. I also have a YouTube channel under the same name. So yeah. Yeah.
So Pretty Stormy. You can find her literally on TikTok too.
Yeah.
TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, literally Facebook.
I'm not on Facebook, but
yeah. All right, cool. So we literally got the picture. So whoever feels interested and feel like, let's give it a go. And I say give it a go because she has amazing talent. All right, so before we go dive, do you have something small you can rap for us? Something that can move us a little bit and dive into the subject.
I have a little something I can rap you guys.
Yes.
This doesn't really have, much of a backstory. Well, it does, but, it's not too much detail, you'll understand along the way.
Yeah, of course.
Everyone's life's a story. Mine started off decent, had a few rough patches, now I feel God's glory. This life is since starting to bore me. I'm choosing to rebrand, choosing to be more me. You ain't got to Dior me. If you adore me, I grew up on people pleasing, definitely stem from the bullying, the name calling, and the picking and teasing. So if I let you down, you know the reason.
Yes.
Cause this is my season. I used to hang with those who envied me, call that treachery or treason.
Hey! Love that. And there's so much more to go. Listen, you need to stick with her, right? Stick with her. So calling all the producers, calling all them people grab her before somebody else does. All right, so we're gonna give you a short little break when we come back so we can finally dive into today's subject. See you in a minute. So we are finally back, and today's subject, as we said, that is, the future, is our future in danger? And we really want to understand, when it says danger, it means anything that can possibly harm. And we obviously live in this world, you and me, we're human, anything that can harm a human being, right? So anything that can cause this human to be hurt or damaged, or even from not continue to go on when it comes to the generation upcoming. So we're trying really to warn the ones that are growing up, the next generation, because they're the one who are grabbing all the things they're seeing, all the things they're listening, and in order to pass it on, right? And this is why we're calling for moms, we're calling for parents, dads, we're calling for anyone really that is an adult and that has really, how I'm going to say this, that is able to help, right? Because it's very, very important for us to be united. It's only when you can only go forward truly when multiple people, 2 people are gathered together, and it's very, very, very mandatory. So now all the other chapters that we covered, it was when it comes to the gospel world and musicians, and it seems like they will be diverting. Where are they really going? What are the messages? I spoke about rape, I spoke about human traffic, and I spoke about all these people, like drugs, when it comes to addiction, whether it's food, whether it's liquid, whether your surrounding. I spoke about so many things, and there's so many more to come. But today in particular is really about the open heart, and it's about finding a solution. And a solution cannot actually come from one person. 1 in a million is always good, but when there are many solutions together, honestly, is better than nothing. So obviously I have Divine with me, who is going to give us a little insight on when it comes to her solution. Now, before we tackle the solution, Divine, the issues, right? So in the community, or in your community, or just you as you were growing, let's start from there. Like, when you were growing up, like, what are the issues that you saw that could be addressed but wasn't addressed as a young girl?
Okay. Wow. With me, I think, there was a lot of issues, not just within myself, within my peers, within the people that I would see like at school, just so many different things. I would say one of them, I want to start with this, I would say mental health.
Yeah.
Why I say this, I feel like, especially this generation, we live in a generation where, everyone has become extremely sensitive. So, everything is like about, not trying to hurt one another. You can't say this because it's offensive, So I feel like that kind of came from this like mental health awareness that, people are making a thing, people are talking. So I do feel like, that's one of the issues. I think a lot of people have, trauma maybe from their childhood, or just things that they've witnessed and they've seen growing up. And, when you don't deal with these kind of things, they stay with you, and you start to see them peeling away in your life, like in so many different, aspects in your life, So I definitely think that's one of the like issues. I would say social media, because social media has a massive impact, on.
I mean, right now, especially because it keeps on growing.
Exactly. Even when I was, growing up, social media was around, but I was like too young to even be on these things. So I would make secret accounts, just so that I could have, just so I could have social media. But, as you're growing up and you're starting to see like how people are abusing it, and, the way it becomes like just trendy to be somebody on social media. If you haven't got this amount of followers, you're a nobody, So I definitely think that's also something else that's had like a huge impact.
Even back like at school, for example. I mean, because you mentioned just now mental health. Like back then, did you did you know exactly what mental health was when you could like detect it, or was it something like you learned later on to see, okay, this was the issue?
Yeah. See, with mental health, I always heard about it in school because
Yeah.
there was always that one person that would be like, my anxiety, da, 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 da. But I think like in school, it wasn't really taken seriously because that was just what the girls would use to get out of lesson, you know? People would just use that excuse like, oh, you know, I'm getting depressed, you know, just that type of stuff. So I think I never really understood like...
Were you taking it serious?
No, I don't feel like I did. I didn't really like put much of focus onto it. Like I just thought, you know, some people get like that, whatever. But I think as I actually left secondary school, I think that's when, you know, like I started to realize like, you know, everyone has like a mental side, and it's really important to make sure that you keep, you know, like your mind right, you know, because I started to experience things myself, like
what can you give us one example?
Like, you know, even just like small things, like for example, I'm dark skinned and I'm actually comfortable in my skin now, but growing up it was hard, you know, like being a dark skinned girl in school, because, you know, you're neither too dark or, you know, you're just, you know, people would just pick on you, say anything about you, you know, call you ugly, and it's like, how could, you know, it's just, it wasn't nice. So I guess that was the first kind of thing that like started to like play on my mind, you know, like, am I not pretty, you know, am I not nice, you know? I guess that would be the first thing I would say, like, and then...
How did you deal with that?
I don't think I really did, to be honest. Like, I just feel like because I'm so used to being, you know, dark skin, and it's something that I'm used to, I kind of just like...
Let it pass?
Yeah, I would say, yeah, I let it pass. Like, I didn't really take it... Like, at the time, it did upset me, but like how I am as a person, which is also another reason to why I really do like psychology and, you know, mental health, is because I'm the kind of person that will suppress their emotions.
Okay.
So it's like, even if I feel something, you know, if I don't express it right there and then, it's going straight to the back.
Okay. And then what happened when it goes straight to the back?
Then, you know, sometimes you can bottle it up, and then one day, that's it.
Just
Everything
explodes.
yeah.
When it explodes, like, who is actually there to pick up the pieces, or are you you're basically the one to still pick up the pieces yourself?
Well, yeah, I mean, most of the time I would say I am the one to pick up the pieces myself. There probably have been a couple of times where, you know, like my family, my friends have been there. But I think that's the thing that I've like realized a lot about life, you know, like it's always going to be you, you know, regardless of, you can have the whole world standing behind you, but it's always going to be you who's going to really pick up the pieces for yourself anyways. Yeah.
And so as you said, I can see a little bit a picture here, you know, of this young girl growing up and basically fighting for herself. And the mental side was already kicking in from a very, very young age, and not knowing or understanding exactly what was happening. So now that you're studying psychology, sorry, why that subject? You mean you could have done fashion? I mean, you look beautiful. You have you know, the body for it when it comes to, you know, catwalk or so. You can speak, you know, fluently, and someone can actually understand you. Could be literally many subjects that you could have, you know, gone for. Why that?
Well, I feel like I've always liked psychology. Like, even in secondary school, I did take that as a subject, and, you know, but I think like school only teach you, like, you know, the basic stuff, the things that like don't, in the real world, you know, these things aren't happening in the real world, you know, the things that they teach you at school. So I guess like what actually really helped me discover like my passion for it was I was in a relationship at one time, and, you know, around the time that I was in that relationship, I would say, I was like already starting to go through more like with my mental health. And, you know, I was starting to question, like, why do I always feel sad? Why am I always crying? Why am I always feeling this way? And I would actually type it in Google, like, what does it mean if I cry every day, you know? And yeah, like, I guess I would just start to see things about depression and stuff, but, you know, like, I just never really took this stuff seriously because I just thought it couldn't be me.
It couldn't be
you know?
me. Yeah.
And yeah, like, I guess, like, whilst I was like growing up and also in this relationship, I started to see a lot about, like, you know, narcissism and stuff. And, you know, like, at first I just thought, you know, what's all this, you know, like, talking about toxic people and toxic personalities. I never really understood, but I was so intrigued, so I would just
try to keep the microphone next to you.
I was so intrigued, so, you know, I would just keep, you know, like, researching and looking, and I guess, like, yeah, it's like a rabbit hole, you know. Once you start looking, you just keep going deeper and deeper. And I started to find things out about myself, and I was like, wow, that sounds a lot like me, you know. And then it just, I guess, yeah, like, I just started to learn more about, like, different personalities that you can find and other, like, mental health things that aren't the normal things that you hear, like schizophrenia or stuff. There's actually, you know, like, things that are trauma-based and things that, you know, like OCD. Many people don't realize that OCD is actually trauma-based, like, you know. So, yeah, like, I just started to, you know, do my research and find out these things.
Yeah. And now you're on your second year, right? Or
well, I'm redoing this because I had to transfer university, so I'm just redoing the first year. Yeah.
I like that. So that was just an insight, obviously, of who Divine Isalu Stormy, aka Stormy, is, and trying to understand exactly, like, you know, a bit of the danger when it comes to, you know, the youth side. And you mentioned something very important, mental health. You mentioned pressure, and then there is also this issue when it comes to, you know, the skin. It's like this, I mean, today it has a little bit changed, racism. I mean, we're still fighting it, let's just say that. You know, some places is still not changing, but other places, honestly, there are family who are fighting in order for it to disappear. And I believe I mean, parents are doing a great job, so let's keep it up. So now, like, in this 21st century, you mentioned social media and so forth. So now, about what are the apart from that, like, more insight when it comes to that can basically push a child to really lose themselves, and how to not, I will not say this is the time to say how to come out, because we're definitely going to go there. But what are the main things that you feel like if this child continues, that's it, we're going to lose them?
I would say boredom.
Okay.
Boredom, I feel like, is a problem that a lot of people, you know, like, struggle with, even not children, even adults, because apart from maybe your day-to-day work, you know, job, school, when you are, like, not in that environment, what do you do with your time, you know?
So laziness is the main issue. That can lead basically to so many. So can you name, like, few points that?
Well, I know a saying, you know, idle hands make bad decisions, and to have idle hands, that's to do nothing, you know, to sit around being lazy, to sit around and make excuses, and that's why there's so many criminals, you know, because they haven't got much else to do, so they decide to be, like, you know, a criminal, I guess. So I would say, like, in that sense, and I feel like because so many people, like, especially young people, they don't have anything to do, so they'd rather go out and be in the streets with their friends, you know, at night time, you know, doing drugs, drinking, because this is what people consider as having a good time. When people are bored, all they want to do is have a good time,
basically chilling with their friends,
and indulging in things that actually, like, long term, they don't do you no good. And
when it comes to that, like, have you ever got the pressure, you know, from your friends, for example, like who are already inside this boringness or this laziness circle, and they try to pull you in it?
Well, you know, that I've, like, obviously as I've grown, I've learned to outgrow some friends. But, you know, when I really look back, I'm, you know, like growing up, sometimes I think, wow, like, imagine if I was still hanging around this person, where would I be today, you know? Because when I think about it, like, there was no good coming from this, you know? And there's also like another saying, they call it crabs in a bucket. It's like, you know, if you put all the crabs in the bucket, one can try to escape, but they're all going to pull each other down. And that's what it's like. It's like, you know, maybe like one day your friends will all be chilling, doing whatever they're doing, and they might call you and say like, you know, let's go to this place. And you yourself, you might feel like, I don't really want to go, like I'd rather be at home right now, but they'll start listing all the things that are fun to do at this place. And, you know, you don't want to seem like the boring friend. You don't want to seem like the one who doesn't know how to have a good time. So you kind of just, you know, go with it. But it's like, if you actually had time, like a hobby that you was doing, your friends would know they can't call you at this time because, you know, Divine's at football or she's at swimming class, you know. But when you don't have these things that you're doing and you're just sitting around, you know, like doing nothing, it's like people will always overstep your boundaries as far as you let them. So, you know, I think that's definitely one thing, like not knowing when's too much and too little, I feel like, in this generation.
Can I ask you a question? How to know your limits, though, in this generation?
I feel like we all just naturally know it. It's just about whether you choose to be disciplined or not. Because I feel like everyone knows when they get uncomfortable, you know. Everyone knows when they feel sick. You might not know what it is, but you feel it within yourself, like something's not right, you know. So I just feel like there is that gut feeling, but some people, they just don't listen, like, you know. I have had many times where, you know, like, for example, I've been, you know, out with my friends and I know myself it's time to go home, you know, but because everyone wants to stay and have fun, I'm just like, you know, whatever. But so many, like, at that moment when you have that feeling, you don't know what made you have that feeling. Something could just happen, you know. There's been so many, like, stories that you hear on the news. Someone's just been killed. Someone's just been... So sometimes, you know, it's just better to follow that feeling because that could be saving you from something.
Have you ever found yourself in a situation whereby you nearly lost your life? It was really at that breaking point whereby, okay, that's it.
Yeah, I went to a festival, Wireless Festival. And at a festival like Wireless, you know, it's very popular. Like, celebrities from all over the world are coming to perform and stuff. And people are off drugs, drinking, you know, it's just not an environment that, you know, like, I wouldn't consider it a safe environment. And yeah, like, many people, you know, they don't buy tickets. They, like, come to jump the barriers and stuff. So I remember, like, it got too overcrowded. So many people, like, you know, it was a whole stampede. People were fainting, panicking, screaming. Like, yeah, it got to the point I was literally, like, pushed between a brick wall.
Whoa.
Yeah, like, I literally thought I was going to die. I was screaming, crying for my life.
Wow.
Yeah, that's why I don't think I'll ever be attending that place again.
Okay.
So, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. That's a festival. Like, another environment, like, you know, these type of environments. Anything can easily go wrong. Like, it was that bad that even the police were screaming, like, you know.
Oh, my goodness. And they're supposed to be the one helping. All right, let's come back to mental health. And I feel like this is really a topic that parents, even in this time, I mean, we're screaming mental health. And I even had one of my amazing guests, Jeffrey Samba, who is Mr. Congo. He spoke about the mental health when it comes to the men's side. But what I really want to say is, like, it seems like it's still neglected, like it's still not taken into consideration, and to understand that mental health is actually important. So now, do you think, like, in your family, mental health, because you're coming from the background, you know, African background, do you believe that like mental health is understood in your community?
I would say...
Or even accepted?
I feel like there's... I don't know, like, it's a 50-50 because it's like... I feel like in my household, it's recognized, but I don't think it's acknowledged, you know, and that might be the same with many other households, you know, it's recognized, but it's not acknowledged. And when I say that, I'm meaning in just like, even when, you know, like a child's growing up, this happens mainly, I would say, like, you know, a lot in African households, but this can also happen in other, you know, households. But like that first, you know, sign of rebellion in a child, like parents just run straight away and say like, you're rebellious, you know, you're a bad child. And I think that's kind of, you know, where there becomes that disconnect.
Okay.
Because instead of like parents trying to figure out why the child is acting this way, they kind of just, I guess they will shy them away and tell them, you know, like you're bad, and ground them, you know, like whatever the consequence is. But I don't feel like parents really, like, I just feel like they don't try to connect like on an emotional level, you know? Like,
it doesn't really go deep.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very on the surface, like, yeah.
And how to understand a child really on the, wait, that is part of the answer, so let's not even go there, right? We were really trying to stay on the issues. So now we tackled what, I mean, the you know, the topic of today is our future in danger, and what ways to help, right? So now we mentioned mental health, we mentioned pressure. What else did you mention? Relationships. We said social media really can be one of the trigger. Communication, very, very, very important. All these points are points that we need to put into consideration when it comes to our children, when it comes to our community, when it comes to, you know, just our country and so forth. Because obviously, if these points are not put into consideration, then our future will be actually really in danger. And it is probably already in danger because a lot of people are not putting, you know, these points into consideration. So now, when it comes to, have you ever, how I'm gonna say this, because last time I came to talk about, you know, this child who was, you know, in a marriage but forced into marriage, right? So I thought to myself, like, if I don't talk about it, then maybe someone else will not, right? So now my question to you is, do you come sometimes to the point where you voice out certain things that are not going right?
Like within
the community, within the youth, you know, for someone to probably get the help?
Yeah. I mean, on my platforms, I have like, you know, like gone live before, and I've just, you know, like given people like a motivational speech before, and just small things like that. And some people have actually reached out to me and asked me, you know, how did you get out of that place that you was once in? You know, like, you know, what did you use to motivate yourself? So yeah, there have been like many times, because I very much advocate for mental health. You know, I do believe that like everyone has a second chance at life, and you know, like it's just about the support around them. You know, who's really there to help them, who's really there to encourage them. But yeah,
I like that. Let's talk about pressure. As we said, is one of the points. You know, parenthood, you know, can be very stressful. I mean, from the parents' view, it's never easy to raise up children, a child, and so forth. And why? Because you know, a child comes with so much baggage. But now, so why do you think parents do give children pressure? Why this pressure?
I feel like, for one, obviously, they want their child to, you know, achieve the things that they could have never achieved, you know, and they want to give the best to their child. But I do feel like, I don't know, sometimes I feel like maybe parents just kind of forget what it's like to be a child, you know.
Okay, I like that.
They've spent most of their years growing up, you know, and being an adult, you know. It's like once you reach that age, yeah, it's like, this is it. Your life is full of responsibilities. You cannot be a child anymore, you know. And I think maybe that it's just, I feel like maybe a lot of like parents have lost that inner child in them, you know. They like have lost that touch, that sensitive touch of like, you know, when you speak to a 4-year-old, like sometimes you should think of it in like a way like, if I was this 4-year-old, how would I want to be spoken to, you know? And I think that's kind of just like, I feel like adults and parents, because it's been so long since they were once a child, they forget that children, like, they're not just objects, you know, they have feelings, and they hear, they see, they pick up on anything. They are literally like a sponge, you know.
Do you think that parents dismiss that factor?
Yeah. It's like children are seen and not heard, you know. That's kind of how,
like she's just a child.
Yeah, you just play in the corner.
Yeah.
And we deal with the real stuff, you know. And I think that yeah, definitely, that's why, like, a lot of, you know, like, kids, the way, like, some children, when they go into, like, preschool and stuff, the way they even interact with other children, like, you can see, like, sometimes you can actually tell, like, which child at home receives the most attention, you know, because it's like the ones who do, they're a lot more confident as children, you know, and the ones who don't, they're very shy, they're very to themselves, isolated, they don't play with other kids, you know. So yeah, I definitely think, like, that is, like, yeah.
For example, like, I came across Lil Wayne biography. I mean, he was talking about this, not even biography, I would say he's talking about a specific story about himself. And for everyone who don't know who Lil Wayne is, well, he's a rapper, a very, very known American rapper, and he's a legend. All right, so he has definitely made his name in the music department. So now he mentioned a story that, you know, this white policeman actually saved his life. And so the way he saved his life is that he was with his friend and he was holding a gun. Now, by holding a gun, he was very, you know, very, very young. So he did what he shouldn't have, and he shot himself. By shooting himself, they called the ambulance, and obviously the police came to, you know, to help out. And he didn't leave, you know, Lil Wayne on the, just like that. He took him, rushed him to the hospital, and this is how basically he got to be saved. So now my focus is not on the fact that, like, he got shot. It's basically going backwards. Why do you think a 12, 13, 14 years old boy will go to the point of buying a gun? Do you think it's just because of the pleasure and seeing, you know, another child buying a gun? Is it because of, like, this a fashion, a trend? Is it because of I mean, what are your views when it comes to that?
Yeah, I think, wow, you know, it's crazy. 12 years old. Like, I don't even know how
how to begin. Yes,
I feel like, you know, like, part of it, I would say, is down to the environment. You know, like especially America, that's a country where, you know, like, the towns and states that are, I guess, like, you know, a lot, I don't know how, like, to say, like, where you would find more common people, you know, because of where they are, the lack of opportunity that they have, like, to even have, like, you know, I guess, a better community. You know, like, it's very easy for them to get wound up in this type of, like, gang-related type of behavior, because that's all they see in front of them, you know? Like, they go to school, they see these, like, gangsters and drug dealers in the street right in front of their schools. So I do feel like, yeah, the community, like, the lack of, like, consideration for the young is one thing. But I also feel like that's down to also, like, pressure, peer pressure, because peer pressure really, really, like,
kills.
It kills. It does, because, you know, everyone wants to be relevant. Everyone wants to be that person, like, the clout chasing and all that type of stuff. Everyone wants to have that status. So I feel like, even just to think, like, he has a gun, you know, like, maybe if in his mind he felt that, you know, if I have this, I'm the coolest guy, you know, people are going to respect me. People aren't going to bully me no more. People aren't going to laugh at me, push me around, and, you know, so I do feel like that could have had an impact on that. Wow.
It's quite deep, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a conversation with someone not long ago, and we were talking about the youth, actually, and she was talking about the person is a lady. To just talking about respect, which is something really huge and something that's not really understood by everyone, depending on the generation.
Yeah.
Right. It seems like your parents, for example, the way they take, how understand. Respect is completely different. The way they give themselves, for example, your mom and your dad, the way they respect themselves, completely different. But now, though, in our time as well, or in your generation, it seems like respect also is passed on or understood differently.
Oh, yeah.
So now, she says that respect in this generation is a bit, it's like we're not really understanding the value of it, and we don't really understand exactly what it is, right? So I feel like respect also is not just like towards others, but also towards ourselves.
Yeah.
So now my question to you is like, do you recognize or see signs of respect when it comes to the youth, for example, in this generation, among you guys, like, and how do you deal with that?
I mean, it's very rare, like whether that's like towards one another or within themselves. It's quite rare, I think. There are some people, like, but the ones who I feel like who still upheld those values are the ones that tend to be like shy away, I feel like in this generation, like, respect is very superficial.
Okay, I like the word superficial. Okay.
Like, if you have money, people respect you.
Okay.
If you have all the girls or all the boys, people respect you. But if you're someone who, I can't say this for everybody, but for most people, if you're someone who's like more about being, like morals and stuff, like a lot of people will call you goofy, like,
So basically, if you have the good stuff and you're actually talking sense, that's when they reject you. And then when you're talking nonsense and you're doing the wrong things, basically selling drugs, attracting the wrong people around you, and bullying and so forth, and money, and this is where you get the respect.
Yeah, that's where most people, like, from what I've seen anyways, like, people tend to have more respect towards those who are living that fast life than to those who are like really actually trying to find themselves, because that's the thing, everyone wants to live the fast life. Like, I see it everywhere I go, everywhere, like, you see.
I mean, why and these are one of the things as well we came to discuss, is like, why is it that the youth in our generation, our time, so if already in this generation we're living this fast life, what's going to happen in 10 years time? Why do you think in your generation things like right now, like the youth want to live a fast life? Why is that?
I mean, I would say the media, and I like the media. For me, those are the main things, because like I said, peer pressure comes in so many different forms. Like, that can be between you and your friends. That can be what you see on TV. You could watch a movie on TV, and now because of what you've seen in the movie, you're like, you're amped up and you want to go do the same thing that you saw in the movie. So I feel like, like, just the media and that pressure and the expectations from your friends, from everyone around you, like, I think that, but that stems from like people being insecure though, I feel like a lot of people like are insecure within themselves, so they go out there looking for that like everywhere else. So it's like, if I can get this amount of people to like my Instagram picture, I'm somebody, and I feel like that complex that people have in their mind is like what actually like pushes them to indulge in so much more, because it's like, at first they see Kim K doing it, and then they want to try, and it works for them. Now the girl down the road has seen that it's worked for you, and she has the same issue, so now she wants to try it, and it just becomes a trend, like people just sharing it with one another, like recommending it to people, and then like it just becomes a trend. Cause
would you say that maybe something that you don't have at home, you want to get it outside? What I mean by that is, what I mean by that is also education. Is actually have the right foundation. right? So now, do you think when it comes to, you know, your environment, the people that you know, most of these girls or even boys are basically kind of indulging themselves in the wrong things? Maybe it's due to the way they grown up,
Yeah.
the way, like, their educational background.
Yeah, definitely. I do think. Well, I feel like that has the main, like, you know, structure, because I feel like that is how you, like, become a person. It's from what you saw as a child. Yeah, like, and that can be small things, like maybe they came from a home that they didn't have money, you know, and now that they're old enough to go out there and, you know, make the money themselves, it's like they're going crazy, you know.
Yeah.
Or it could be, I don't know, like some people grew up in a household where, you know, like, I don't want to say like they're,
What's the right word?
like that they witnessed their parents
Yeah.
have like multiple partners, you know.
Okay, I see.
And, you know, for them, that's kind of normal to them now. So they go out there and they're like, you know, with many different people because this is normal, you know. So yeah, like, I would say definitely, I think most of these insecurities stem from like childhood. Yeah.
All right, I like that. All right, so we're gonna give you a short little break so we can finally dive into solution. So we have mentioned many points. We said, you know, is our future in danger? And it could be in danger because of all these points that we've given: mental health, pressure, social media, you know, background, education, your communication with your parents, you know, the way you've been, you know, the way you grow up. Did you have it? Did you not have? I mean, it's all these things. The fast life. Why are the youth in this generation living a fast life? Pressure. And then there's so much more we can really dig into. And then if you have honestly something to say, please write down. If you want to call, you can also call actually on 079 46 206 506. If you can pull the number, that'd be great. And if you can call. If not, that is okay. So we're just gonna give a short little break in order to dive into how to help, ways to help. See you soon with Divine Isalu, aka
Free Stormy.
Let's go. Back with
Stormy.
Yes, aka the artist of the day. So listen, if you want more of her, as I told you, you know exactly where to find her. So now we're diving in ways to help. Who we're trying to help? We're trying to help the next generation. Who are we trying to, you know, to pull the ears right now? Is literally anyone who is living right now, anyone that has feet, anyone that has project, anyone that really want to, you know, keep on evolving in life, and you know, somehow want to, you know, pass on to what they have, their knowledge, to a next person. So now there are danger around the world, and danger that can really hurt families, communities, and so forth. And really, we're trying to not finish it, because not two people cannot do it. But if you associate yourself with us, we maybe be able to, you know, to do better and keep on evolving. So now, ways to help when it comes to pressure, ways to help when it comes to mental health, ways to help when it comes to education, ways to help when it comes to social media, when it comes to, you know, what's it called, communication between parent and children. You know, and these are all these things, and try maybe to minimize a fast life. Did I do it right?
Yeah.
Yeah. These are all the points that we mentioned just now. So let's tackle how to help. Let's begin with pressure. Because I feel like you may have the right education at home, and the parents who were well educated from both sides, and they're really trying to give the right education to their children. But if they still remain, like, if the children are still getting pressure from the outside, it's somehow going to affect them still.
Yeah.
So how ways to help when it comes to pressure, children young in your generation who are facing pressure?
I would say one way I feel is like confidence,
Okay.
Like when you lack the confidence, you care too much about, like what everyone thinks and how everyone's going to see you, So I feel like, like the confidence is one thing. And as parents, how like you could, because there are many ways to help, your child, like to uplift their confidence. But I think one way, even small compliments every now and again, like
it's not very small, but it's very effective.
The small things really matter. Like, tell your child they look nice instead of telling them you eat too much, or, tell them like you did. I don't know, if they have a art project or something, tell them how good they did, like just encourage them, make them feel better about themselves, make them feel like, feel like a person, make them feel seen and heard. Because I feel like when people don't feel seen and heard, like the only other person you can go to is yourself. And, sometimes your own self can be your worst enemy.
Very much.
So it's like when they don't have that person that they feel so like secure to talk to or go to, like they will only lean on what
themselves.
Yeah. And leaning on yourself, like, you might be the only one who knows yourself the way you do, but people were made for there to be like communities and, support around. So,
So parents, please say something. Don't be silenced when it comes to your children. Honestly, like you if you don't say, somebody else will say.
Yeah.
If you don't give, somebody else will give. If you do not open yourself, someone else will do it.
Yeah.
Honestly, you never know how another person, can react to it when it comes to your own child. They will treat your child differently than you could have. I'm not saying better, maybe worse. So let's not even go too much on the worst. But what I really want to say is, like, open your heart to your child.
Yeah.
You will probably avoid a lot of danger for the future when it comes to this child, because as you said, like, the child will not remain a child for a very long time. The child will grow and become an adult, and then become a young adult, a man, and a parent, and so forth. And then they will literally give to their children, to their child, what he or she received. And it's very, very important to do that. So pressure. So now we tackle pressure done. Mental health. Ways to help when it comes to mental health. And the reason why you're the best person to ask. I mean, with your studies and with things that you've seen, I believe is an amazing combination in order to bring help into someone's child right now that is probably watching us today. How to help a child or a young boy, young lady that is facing mental health.
Well, one of the, like, I guess the main reasons to why, like, some people actually, like, find themselves in that headspace, I guess it's because you don't feel connected. Like, I've heard many young people say, like, I don't fit in, I have nowhere to fit in. And I think, like, that break that, that boundary, that's because when you start to realize, like, you are unique and you are you, like, there is no better you than you, no one else can do you better than you do you. And, you start to learn to accept, like, the way you look, where you're from, just accepting yourself. you will start to naturally just feel, you know, like comfortable within yourself. And it doesn't happen overnight, you know. The first night it could just simply be like, you know, like for example, if like I know some people who like they have anxiety to the point where they can't leave the house without makeup, you know. And it's like, you know, maybe just today say no to the makeup.
Okay.
You know?
And
you know, tell yourself like I am me and I am the best me that I can ever be, you know. Stop like looking at, you know, other people and seeing the way other people live, because we always forget, like you may see someone and they could be the loudest person in the room, but as soon as they go home, you don't know what they're dealing with, you know.
Themselves down.
So like stop worrying about how other people see you, because you get to paint your own story, like paint your own reality. It is your world, you know. Many people say the world is my canvas.
Yes.
You know, so I think that's one thing. And start to find like your niche, you know, like whether that is if you like art, if you like sports, if you like football, if you like cooking, you know, there's so many things. Some people like cleaning. I have a friend, she literally cleans every day for a living, like, you know, and that's what makes her feel comfortable.
Exactly.
You know, that's what makes her feel at peace. It's like you need to find your niche. It can be as small as like, you know, I don't know, movies, or, you know, like going outside, taking a walk, going to the park.
A lot of people love to do that.
Yeah, so trust me, for me, one thing I do enjoy going outside, like, and going to, even if it's just a random park. I'm that person. I can be in an area I don't know. I will go inside the park.
Yeah, just to sit down.
Yeah, because I feel a lot more grounded, you know, like being outside and just being in tune with God's creation. Like, you know, like I'm not necessarily, you know, like giving all like praise to the creation, but I'm acknowledging that, you know, like every single tree is made the way it's made, like, and it's so unique. Who's to say that I'm not unique, you know? If even leaves are unique, who's to say that you're not unique, you know? So yeah, I think that I just feel like that starting to accept yourself, like, yeah, okay, I might have a bad temper, or yeah, okay, I might have an attitude. Yeah, okay, I might be this way. But I am this way, and I'm gonna work on being better. And you have to want to be better as well, like, because some people are trying to help people who don't want help.
Exactly.
You know.
Unfortunately, there are people like that who are around the world who really do not want your help, and they want to do it by themselves. Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately. Exactly.
You have to accept the fact that, you know, you cannot do it alone. Like, you can't convince yourself every day that it's just going to be you for the rest of your life. You need to actually realize that, you know, part of living is realizing that, you know, it's not just you, you know, you have many people around you who are watching what you do, who are, you know, experiencing what you do. And you don't even realize, like, how you look at yourself, you don't even realize how much that could affect and influence someone else's life, you know? Like, very true. Even me, when I was in, like, you know, I was going through my, like, mental health and my stage, like, I had no idea that my behavior was affecting my family, but it was, you know, and it was damaging at home. I can imagine for my family, it was very hard for them to watch and to not know how to approach me, you know. But I feel like, you know, when you start to realize, like, I'm a human being, you know, like, I can't be perfect every day. I literally can't, you know. Then you start to put less pressure on yourself. Yeah. And then you start to take care of yourself more, you know. Also, that's one more thing as well. Like, self-care days, they're needed.
It's very needed.
I'm telling you. Honestly, even if you're not one of those people that want to go and get your hair done, your lashes done, your, like, nails done, even if that's just simply at home, doing something that makes you feel, you know, good, like, that is self-care. You're taking care of yourself, you know. Like, some days for me, a self-care day is literally cleaning up my whole room.
The whole room, literally.
Sometimes I'll just start moving things for no reason. But it's because I know if I stay feeling how I'm feeling, I'm just going to be sad. So I might as well, like, you know, be productive. Put my mind to something.
Yeah. I like that. All right, and so that's tick. We spoke about education and the communication between, you know, parents and children. I believe that's a big one too. And we cannot tackle it just in one night. But how how to fix that, to fix this brokenness between parent and children, this understanding, this communication, how to bring them back together. You're the specialist one.
I would say like accountability on both like behalves, children and parents.
Okay.
So like I feel like parents, you know, I don't want to say they need to be accountable, but in certain aspects, you know, they should really lean towards being accountable, because it's like sometimes as a parent, like you can give too little or too much, you know, and that could just
have an effect.
Yeah, like, you know, so it's like finding that balance, and, you know, you need to be able to look at yourself and say like, yeah, okay, maybe I was too much on you, you know, maybe I did, you know, like pressure you or put a lot of expectation on you, you know, or maybe I was, you know, I didn't talk to you as much as I could have, you know, like I feel like the accountability, because once you start to be accountable, like for what you've done, you'll start to be accountable for what you're doing.
Okay.
And, you know, then you'll like, before it gets to even like, you know, that stage where you're gonna, I don't know, like when you're changing your behavior, you will start to consider like, you know, like your child, you know, and the same with children as well. Children need to be accountable, like to all the stress they put their parents through, because at the end of the day, it's easy to be a child and say like, my parents are this, my parents are that, you know, but parents go through a lot, like trying to make sure that you even stay alive.
Stay alive. I like that.
Trust me.
I like that. And so we have education, that is social media. How to actually, is it even possible? Because in this generation, the internet is the fast way, is the most important thing. I mean, you can leave your house and forget your phone. You'll come back for your phone. You'll rather be late at work, but you need to have your phone. So how? Because internet has a good side and a bad side of it. So
see, the social media one is a hard one, because like you said, like it's like there's so many pros and there's also so many cons, you know. I just feel like maybe like as a parent, before you give your child, you know, any form of like technology that, you know, they will be on social media, try to regulate that, you know. Like I know that a lot of children out there probably don't want their parent going on their phone and da-da-da-da-da. But honestly, like that
because there's a lot of things they are hiding.
Yeah. Do you want me to
obviously
be honest?
they don't want you to know. So just know that.
Yeah. Because that's the thing, like I feel like social media has gotten to that point where like it's going to be very hard, you know, for people to tackle that, because that is literally the purpose of social media. Like, as much as, you know, I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist.
Yes.
You know, social media really was brought here as a distraction. Like, it was put here to distract people.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, it is quite hard with that one. But I think just in general, like, regulating, you know, like, as a parent, you know, if it means you have to follow your child on Instagram, follow them, you know, like.
If you need to, you gotta to.
Yeah. And I think obviously for younger people, like in general, I just think, remember that social media is not real. It's not real.
Social media is not real.
That picture, that video, that 20-second video, there was a whole 24 hours after that picture.
Yeah.
And that video that you saw.
And that says a lot.
Exactly.
It says a lot. So now we've tackled pressure, mental health, education. What else did we say? Social media, we've just done it now. I believe, you know, self-care, be able to take care of yourself. I don't know if I'm missing anything. I believe that the loss, the fast life, right? Fast life. Yeah. And this goes with patience. So now, like with the conversation I had with this person, she said, it looks like the youth need patience. Yeah. Tell me how to develop patience in the youth side.
I feel like with that, we would need more people who lived the fast life and realized that it wasn't it for them, you know, to come out and start speaking to these children and showing them, like, you know, I was living the fast life and look where it got me, you know, because I feel
so
like
they need a living proof
yeah,
for them to acknowledge that.
I mean, even sometimes that doesn't help, but you know, like, I feel like if there was more people who were willing to share their story, I feel like it would teach a lot of people a bit more lessons, I think, because, you know, like, I feel like people need, like, it's like people need proof to believe something, you know.
Nowadays, yes.
And you know, if you have someone who can show you, like, I had all the money, had all the cars, had everything, and now I'm a completely different person. That when you actually witness somebody like that, it's jaw dropping. I personally, I believe it's jaw dropping.
I mean, I have one person, Mike Tyson. He went to prison, and you know, can't remember exactly how long he did there, and he said that was the best life, the best time of his life. And why is because, like, no one was asking for money, there was no pressure of anything, and I believe that it's like he basically could rest. Yeah. Right. So now somebody like that who fought for his life when it comes to boxing, and come to tell you, hey, like, I know I have money, I have this, I have that, I could have literally any kinds of woman around the world, but as soon as I went to prison, I realized that there was this, honestly. But it's like we still have, you know, girls still not believing, young boys still not believing, still going. It's quite tricky.
Yeah. I feel like, you know, for those who are not believing, like, I mean, you know, like, those who won't listen will feel.
I guess there's going to be consequences.
Yeah. Because there's only so much that, like, we can do as a community, you know. Like, yeah, we can try our best. We can go, you know, like, I don't know, like, campaign in the streets and stuff. But, you know, there are just some people, like, who just, the idea of change in general is not a thing for them, you know? So I think, like, that can be a bit of a, I guess, like a, you know, somewhere that could prevent a lot of people from changing, but, you know. Yeah.
All right, so with all the points that we've mentioned, problem issues, and then we said now we really want to help, right? So now, and we have somehow brought some solution for whoever has, you know, has been watching. Your last word for someone who's, you know, looking at you and saying, hey, like, I'm listening to you right now, and right, I need some help in everything. What is your last word as AKA Stormy, and like, how could you, how to help?
I would say stop bottling up everything. Talk to somebody. Honestly, talking has saved a lot of people from a lot of things. I literally saw a video yesterday. Someone in America, school shooter, he walked out of the corridor with the gun. The teacher came and gave him a hug. He dropped the gun.
Whoa.
Like, the power of actually talking about what you're dealing with, it can change so much. And just like that teacher, she risked her own life, you know?
She did. And
she saved the whole school, you know? So I feel like talking to people, like, don't be ashamed, you know? Having emotions doesn't make you weak. It makes you a person. Like, if you didn't have that, you're an AI, you're a robot, you know? Because how can one not have emotions? Or how can you be so, like, detached from your emotions, you know? So I definitely think, like, talk to people. And if you haven't got anyone, even if it means, you know, like, write letters. There's the Samaritans helpline. They're there, you know. There's actually helplines that are there, you know, for people who don't have anyone to talk to. There's Reddit communities. There's communities on, as much as we do want to say we don't want to make social media too much of, you know, the end goal, but there are communities on social media that you could actually join and talk about your problems. And I'm telling you, there's many people out there that will sit and listen, because there's many people, you know, as well as ourselves, who go through problems, and all they would want to do is, you know, to like, encounter someone who relates to them, you know, or who they relate to, makes them feel like they're not alone. You know, So I feel like that's my main thing. Like for anyone who might be, even if you're not battling with, you know, mental health and you're just in a confused space in your life, talk to someone. Like talking to someone can stop you from making a lot of bad decisions. So yeah.
All right, so we are literally at the end of our show, and Étincelle, as I told you from the very first, you know, Étincelle is all about bringing light into someone's life, you know, from this pressure, depression, I don't know, lack of education, lack of love. One thing also, like, danger can, you know, appear into your life is when you don't have love, when no one loves you, or maybe you don't receive love and you can't seem to give love. Why? Because you don't have love and you don't know how to recognize love when love comes to you. So now, if that is your case, or that you feel pressurized, or you don't take care of yourself, and all the points that we mentioned just now, honestly, please recognize them, please see them. And like I'm coming with a humble voice, humble heart, and I'm really knocking, you know, at the door of your heart, and I say, please change things around. And if you are a parent that you're listening to us right now, please take all the things that we just spoke about into consideration. You know, change ways, change your way. If things are not fixing at home, change. You know, don't be stubborn. Sometimes stubbornness doesn't take you anywhere. Laziness either, we spoke about it just now. So please, and accept your child just what your child is. Love your child, you know, upbring your child in the best possible ways, and maybe things will change in the future. Maybe the danger will be spared, you know. So it's really just to make you understand that Étincelle is here really to open your eyes and to show you maybe possibly the way. Maybe it's not now, but maybe gradually you'll be able to come out of the situation that you are facing at present moment. I don't know what exactly it is, but there's always a solution and nothing is impossible. So I had with me, aka Stormy, and an amazing artist that you can find her literally TikTok, Instagram, on YouTube. She gives so many advices for whoever wants to listen and really is willing to change their ways. And apart from that, she has a beautiful voice. Look for her. Producers, I don't know where you guys are, calling for you. Grab her before somebody else does, right? And yeah, so that's basically it. My name is GRACIA SUSUZANDE. You can also find me on all my platforms, and please check out, subscribe on Étincelle Talk Show. We are here every single Monday at 8 p.m. in order to enlighten someone. I'm a woman of many hats, a hairdresser, you know, an advisor, I don't know, youth leader. Listen, so many hats, but you can definitely find me also on all my platforms, and a hairdresser as well. So if you're looking for your hair to be done, I don't know, you want to be slayed, call me. You looking for a yaya big sister, call me. I'm here. If you want to look for, I don't know, someone to train you a little bit when it comes to high heels, I'm here there. So listen, I think I've spoken a lot. We've spoken a lot. I'm going to leave you and have a beautiful week, and see you next week, Monday, 8 p.m. for another topic. And shout out to you, Apostle Mylene, for sponsoring Étincelle Talk Show. Bye-bye.